1 by Chelsea. The visitors taking the lead after 11 minutes through former Leicester man Ben Chilwell. Leicester reacted well to that, and Marty coming really close with a header. Kieran Dewsbury Hall with a shot that deflected off the bar. Chelsea had a goal ruled out with thanks to VAR. And then Leicester equalised. Patson Daka, his first Premier League start since Boxing Day. About 6 minutes before the break, a ferocious shot from the edge of the box that found the back of the net. But Chelsea made it 2-1 right on half-time. Kai Havertz with a lobbed finish to give Chelsea a half-time break. And despite Leicester dominating possession during the second half, they were caught on the break. On the 78th minutes, the captain Kovacic with a scissor kick volley to seal the third, and just before the 90 minutes were up, we saw Wout Faes sent off for a second bookable offence, meaning Leicester lose the game 3-1, and they finish the game with 10 players. Jerry trying to reflect on that, trying to sum that one up this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a tough afternoon, isn't it? If you're a Leicester City fan, player, member of staff, or like we are, commentating on it, John, and there's no hiding from that. But there is some positives to take from this result. You know, I thought Leicester played their part, for the most part, in a decent game of football. Caused Chelsea some problems in that second half. Probably should have drawn level before Chelsea went further in front, but Harry Souttar's chance, but he just couldn't find the back of the net. And I think that's probably the biggest issue at the minute, is the self-belief that, you know, they can get a result against a team like Chelsea. The third game and the sending off has obviously killed the game off, so there's no point really talking about that as a spectacle. But just, again, too many mistakes for me in conceding the goals. Both goals, again, you've got to say are avoidable. The first and second goal are the goals that done the damage. The third goal and then the sending out obviously have ended the game. But for me, the first two goals are the two goals that I'm afraid the players have to look long and hard at for me, because they are definitely avoidable goals. Little shoots of sparks at the other end of the street, but again, no real cutting edge up front. Good finish from Patson Daka, that'll do him the world of good. Iheanacho again, I thought played well, but unfortunately the result is still the same.
Two former Chelsea players, Ben Chilwell and Wesley Fofana, consolidate their teammates before racing across to celebrate with their new supporters. One more task, Jerry, is your Leicester City man of the match this afternoon.
Oh yeah, well, I've mentioned Patson Daka. He gave everybody in the stadium a little spark of hope, a little spark of light. But I've got to say, and I'm not getting to Iheanacho again. I thought at times played really well. I'm just looking through the list. Ricardo Pereira, glimpses of himself, not over the 90 minutes, but head and shoulders yet again the best player on the pitch is the one and only James Maddison. And on that, I have to give it to James, you know, because he is a player that deserves to be on this stage. He stands out on this stage, so he gets it.
More from tags alongside Matt Elliott and David Nugent as this game is continued to be analysed, along with Dan Bates, full-time inside King Power Stadium. It's Leicester 1, Chelsea 3.
Thank you, John. Yep, another disappointing day here at King Power Stadium. Chelsea coming out on top today. David Nugent and Matt Elliott will be with me for the next 20 minutes or so as we assess that defeat. And yeah, I mean, we're laughing because we're trying to find a reason to smile, aren't we? Because it really wasn't. Well, it's very disappointing yet again.
Yeah, well, overall, the second half to me had the feel of sort of just petering out a little bit, really. But punctuated within that was a couple of real good opportunities, wasn't there? I mean, Dewsbury Hall in particular. This is how fine a line it is, but it didn't feel that final line, if that makes sense. You know, when you look at the overall game, listen, I don't know, depending on what viewpoint, how you look at things, you know, that first half, we said at half time, Leicester have given as good as they've got almost, but their play was a little bit more frantic than Chelsea's, which was probably a little bit more structured maybe, I don't know, but you know, in terms of chances, opportunities and situations, etc., they were every bit as threatening as Chelsea. Second half never really got going, did they? You know, like perhaps it took stuffing out of them a little bit, conceding real late in the first half, but coming out in the second 45, you're thinking Leicester be like maybe not all guns blazing, but really giving it a go to get back on level terms early, and who knows, go and force the issue, perhaps get all 3 points later on. But that never really materialised, although there were a couple of scares for Chelsea, without a doubt. I mean, Dewsbury Hall's going to be having a long night, isn't he? With that opportunity there that just got wrong. You know, he's a good technician, Keenan, as well. He'll be hugely disappointed with himself, but lots to mull over. But ultimately, yeah, it's another disappointing evening at the King Power, which is becoming too regular an occurrence.
How do you sum today up?
Yeah, I keep on repeating myself, but it's taking chances, isn't it? You know, we've had the chances to probably take the lead in the first half, get on back on level terms in the second half with Harry Souttar's chance off the line, and then Dewsbury Hall basically got to hit the target and he scores, but he scuffs his shot on the bottom of his studs. And you know, I think Chelsea, I know Leicester had a lot of possession. I mean, Leicester, yeah, in the game today, but they looked in control to me. You know, they knew when they were going to counter and try and hit Leicester on the break, because Leicester were trying to push players forward. You know, they got another goal disallowed with Mudryk, you know, going through 1-on-1. So, but yeah, it's disappointing again because it's another defeat. But on the other hand, with the chances that we've had, we could have been saying we could have come here and get 3 points. But same old story.
Well, that's it. It could have been 6 points from the last 2 games, but it isn't. It's 0. And that is obviously a worry, firstly, and hugely frustrating because, as you said, the chances were there. Yeah,
and then when you see other teams like winning around you as well, Bournemouth winning, Everton winning, Leeds picking a point up, it just drags you in that relegation battle a little bit more. So, you know, it's a tough one to take because the chances were there. We just, again, couldn't take them. And Chelsea get a chance in the second half and punish us. We had a great goal through Kovacic. And, you know, they got to learn from the mistakes. The goals where they scored in the first half, we could have stopped them, but the goal at half time is the sucker punch, because that, you know, brings the lads in half time a bit deflated, and it's a hard one to take. And in the second half, I think Matty said like the game was peaking out, weren't it? Like there was no urgency other than the chances. But I think Chelsea controlled it in the end and probably deserved the 3 points.
Jerry has come and joined us in the studio, not sporting the nice warm woolly hat that you had on outside, because it's a little bit warmer in here. Overall, bitterly.
Elmer Fudd attire.
Yeah, bitterly disappointing overall, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I say, you know, the lads have pretty much covered all the bases. Had opportunities. I forgot about him summing up the Dewsbury Hall chance. That was you know, as any kind of player, never mind a technical player as Keenan, that is a gift from the gods, that chance. It really is. Even for someone like me to be in that position, you know, that you can only dream about chances being gifted to you like that, and for whatever reason, you know, we couldn't take that. It's more disappointing for me the way the goals were conceded, and in particular the first 2 goals.
Well, I was just going to ask you, if Leicester are winning the game, or if they're winning games of football, Kiernan probably puts that chance away, doesn't he? Yeah,
and again, you know, David mentioned when he was talking just there that when you're in this position as a football club, it affects everybody mentally, and so collectively you have to try and pull yourself out of it, and it's not easy, and as soon as something goes wrong, it affects everybody on the pitch for whatever reason. And even to a certain extent, you've got to say, even James Maddison, who was absolutely brilliant, I thought, in the first half. So collectively, the team, the football club, have to find a way. And whether or not that's a different way, or they stick to the same routine or the same method of playing, I you know, it's not for me to say, but They have to find a way collectively that every game between now and the end of the season is going to be heartbreak. It's going to be hell. It's going to be a battle. And you have to be ready for that. Otherwise, you're not coming out of this. It's as simple as that, because the longer this goes on, the deeper it affects the inside of that dressing room. And that is the cold, hard facts about where Leicester are at the minute, unfortunately.
But at least, and we said it again, like you said, on Saturday, but at least the chances are being created. That's something to cling on to and to think, well, just as soon as something goes Leicester's way, it'll all be okay.
Yeah, we keep saying it, don't we? Like, the chances are there, but you still got to score them. Like, you win games by scoring goals, and at the minute we can't keep clean sheets, so we have to rely on taking these chances, and we're not at the minute. And it's hard to watch, because we all want Leicester to win games and climb up the table, but it just needs just a little bit of luck just to change our fortune. Maybe one off the backside or an own goal to get the fans behind us, and an urge is on for the rest of the game. But at the minute you can't really see us going away from home picking up 3 points. But as you say, we need that little bit of luck in front of goal, and hopefully that'll come sooner rather than later. Otherwise it could be a troubled season.
Yeah, Pasandaka did produce a fantastic moment, didn't he? Brilliant left-footed effort. In the first half, at that stage of the game, Leicester had been on top, hadn't they? And it was looking quite rosy, and it was just the sucker punch we said at half-time. That was the word, wasn't it? The sucker punch of that Havertz goal.
Yeah, it was a huge blow. It caught everyone by surprise, didn't it, really? Because you thought, Leicester right back in it, and Daka's goal, exactly, that came out of nowhere, didn't it, really? It was loose play by Felix, wasn't it? It was a little bit casual, shall we say, in a dangerous area. Leicester, fair play to them, reacted, from being that goal down. They didn't let the heads drop, so they were all of a sudden pressing Chelsea and causing a few mistakes, turning over possession, and then getting themselves in good situations on the back of it. Daka, speculative really, wasn't it? Left foot from that angle, that distance, but he caught it superbly, didn't he? Sort of, hooked across it a little bit, whether that was intentional or not, don't know, but dipped in. Near post for the goalkeeper. They're always disappointed to concede, but wouldn't have portioned too much playing with him. It was a hell of a strike, wasn't it? But and then you thought, right, here we go, different game in our hands, literally. And we'll never know, will we, what would have happened if Leicester could have seen it through to half time, and then there would have been a bit more spring in the step and more buoyant coming back out. But never really got going, did they? Second half, and some of that credit's got to go to Chelsea. Chelsea, quality outfit, not having the best of times overall, but recently picked up, and I thought they showed a little bit of class today, without being spectacular. But it's hard. Jerry makes a good point there about things can set in. Nervousness, tension, apprehension, whatever you want to call it. The confidence dwindles a little bit. We've got to stay strong characters collectively, and just be mindful of what they are capable of as well, because that belief is such a big thing. But I don't think it would take too much for that belief to come back again, because Leicester have recovered at certain times, on quite a few occasions over the last couple of seasons.
Maybe
or so.
that champ's going in for 2-2.
It can be as fine as that. Maybe, but again, we'll never know, because it wasn't converted. But you can partially put that down to maybe the situation, because it might just seized up a little bit there, Keenan, realising the importance of it. All sorts flashes through your mind. Maybe not. Maybe we're talking rubbish. Maybe he just miskicked it.
No, it does, because he's seen a goal and thought, I've scored here, and he's probably thinking it's the easiest chance he's going to have all season, and he thinks it's that easy, that he's relaxed that much. I think he's just tried to tap in.
Do you think it's that news? Yeah, rather than
I don't think he's.
Oh my God! If I scored this gets back in. The point, we got a point here. Maybe go and win it again. Like things rattle through.
I just think it's in his head that he's got to tap in, and he's just relaxed too much, tries to control it too much.
Only Keenan could tell us, I suppose, if he was going to be honest about it. But no, listen, they're not blaming Keenan there, but it's just an example, isn't it? There, you've got to take responsibility collectively, but. It's so finely balanced, isn't it? The whole situation. I still think ultimately Leicester will have enough to see things through.
If that's a Maddison Daka or Kelechi or Vardy, it's a goal in it, like, because they're natural one goal scorers, you know. And I think because Keane's not really scored much this season, or he's not had the chances, he's just relied on himself just to like tap it into the net. He hasn't concentrated enough, and he's just scuffed at the bottom of the studs. And he'll be gutted, you know. He'll go home today, Leicester lad. Could have got Leicester back into the game 2-2. Might have gone on and win it, but in the end we go on and lose 3-1.
Yeah, the next 4 games, Jerry, absolutely massive. Brentford, Villa, Palace, Bournemouth.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are the games that are going to define Leicester's season.
These 4.
Absolutely. And teams that are, you know, at the lower end of the league, the teams that are that we have to play. It's as simple as that. That's the way you have to look at it now. You know, there's no point looking up. You've got to look to the sides and below. If there, you know, there isn't many teams below. So these next 4 games, absolutely crucial, and I mean crucial. There's no time for sitting in the dressing room and feeling sorry for yourself. People have to pull together now, because as you've just mentioned, you know, you've got next week against Brentford, then there's a couple of weeks break, and then bang, April is a very, very, very busy month in regards to games that have to be played. I think there's 6 games in April, so there's no time to sit down and feel sorry. You've got to keep going. You've got to stay strong. You've got to believe. You know, I love what Matt said. I really do. Ultimately, we will have enough. That just puts a smile on my face.
I wonder where you're going then.
Yeah, but he was never a proper defender. He never worried about what could happen. He always, you know, went with the flow, whereas I'm a bit more of a worrier.
I had other people to do the nitty gritty for me.
Yeah, but yeah, listen, it is what it is, and now your whole season boils down to, first of all, these next 4 games. Before that, the game next week against Brentford. But yeah, as a group of games go, bang, these next 4 games are absolutely crucial in the future of Leicester City Football Club.
It's a good point, and you can go further than just those 4 and look into April, as Jerry says, how busy it is. It's Palace, it's Villa, Bournemouth, Man City, Wolves, Leeds, then the 1st of May, Everton, and after that Fulham. So it's a massive couple of months, obviously.
I think it's just every game now. It doesn't matter who you play in this week, next week, in 4 games. Like, they need points, and that's starting with Brentford. You know, it'll be tough going down there. They've had a positive season. They're not worried about getting relegated. So Leicester will go there, you know, try and gain a bit of confidence by creating these chances that they have, and just trying to get someone to put them away in the back of the net. That's just been the most frustrating thing over the past couple of games, isn't it? You know, just missing these chances. And the games are going to be tough. I think every game is. It's going to be like, you got to treat it like it's the last game they're going to play in the Premier League, and just, you know, fight for each other. You know, have that work ethic on the pitch where you work for each other. You know, you back your teammate, and I think once you've got that group core of all working together, you know, the results seem to follow as well.
Leicester had more shots on target as well today, just to add insult to
it. And official big chances. I don't know quite how you calculate that. Not officially XG, was it? But
well, if you want to know what
scenario.
The XG is,
no, I don't really.
Well, 2.5. I'm going to tell you anyway. 2.51 for Leicester, 1.64 for Chelsea.
Yeah, so they had the edge in, you know, quite a lot of important areas on paper, statistically, but that's, you know, that's not ultimately what counts, is it? No, exactly. But you can take a little bit of heart from that. You know, Leicester weren't routed here today, were they? You know, it wasn't catastrophic. They weren't taken to the cleaners or anything like that. So, you know, I think that there's, you know, genuine reason to be expectant and hopeful going forward. But at the same time, that's got to be tempered with, you know, the seriousness of the situation, and things need to start happening ASAP, don't they? And all of a sudden, sorry, it takes 2 seconds. All of a sudden now, those games that we were looking at, that you just read out there, a little while ago, when it was 4-1 Tottenham and stuff, you're thinking, 4-2 Villa, you're thinking, that's all right, we're going to pick up plenty of enough points here easily. And, you know, I was thinking a bit like that. But things can change soon, and all of a sudden, not one of those games looks straightforward right now. Not one of them. Sorry, Tex.
No, I was just going to say that for me, it was the way the first 2 goals were conceded is the most disappointing thing. You know, you talk about expected goals, the shots on target. So that sort of proves a point that Leicester were in this game. But when you're conceding goals that are avoidable like that, that is part of the problem that Leicester find themselves in at the minute. They're not, you know, we can look at the stats and go, oh, Chelsea, you know, all right, Chelsea at times, you know, on the counter-attack were very, very good, and but for an offside here, a post there, could have went further in front. But when you analyse the goals, the first 2 goals that stood for Chelsea, they were very, very avoidable. And that is probably the most disappointing thing. Never mind, well, we only scored 1 goal when we had 25 shots and where the XG was 2 point whatever. It's the way the goals were conceded.
Yeah, talked about going back to basics, Dave, as well, and
Absolutely.
some of those basics weren't achieved, were they? Which is a bit of a worry.
I've said my piece.
Yes, well, we'll leave it there for now. We've got plenty more time to talk about it on Extra Time on Monday evening. Jerry said his piece this afternoon. He's got to say his piece again once you've had a little bit of time to think about it, Jerry. On Monday evening at 6 o'clock. We'll be back again for Matchday Live, of course, in a week's time for the Brentford game. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff, of course, away at Brentford, so you can join us from 2. And if you haven't had enough David Nugent in the last couple of weeks, then you can listen to a brand new episode of Leicester's The Place. So that's Jerry Taggart and Matt Elliott in conversation with Dave Nugent. It's a really good listen or a really good watch. You can either get it on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, or also watch it as well on YouTube.
I've had enough of me.
Yeah, everyone's had enough of that anyway. Thankfully, you're not on Extra Time tomorrow. Well, thank you to Jerry, to David, and to Matt for their company this afternoon on another really disappointing day for the Foxes. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you for the Brentford game next Saturday.